This chapter of Delivering Success, brought to you by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the United States Postal Service, emphasizes being prepared to change course. Three entrepreneurs explain how to anticipate change and how they made changes to keep their businesses viable. Warren Brown, owner of Cake Love Bakeries in the Washington, D.C. area, advises you to dust off your business plan and see where you are.
It's really important to kind of take a step back every once in a while, and if it's pulling out the business plan or pulling out something that's closely associated with it, that really does help to see where you are.
David Kravitz and Eileen Spitani are co-owners of Fairy Tale Brownies in Chandler, Arizona, recognized as the 2006 Arizona Small Business Persons of the Year. Founded in 1993, David and Eileen began baking brownies in a friend's catering kitchen. Soon after starting in business, they realized a change in direction would allow for increased sales. Listen how they decided to change their marketing strategy.
When we started the business, we saw a trend with Mrs. Fields cookies and with Ben & Jerry's ice cream, more toward gourmet premium products, and it was also the beginning of the coffee house craze. And our original business plan called for us to sell just wholesale to coffee houses.
The Fairy Tale Brownies in the beginning thought we'd go after the coffee house craze, but at the same time we were doing the farmers markets to get the word out and get people's names and address and find out who is interested in our brownies. And what we realized is we bake a perishable product, all natural, no preservatives. And the coffee houses, they would buy a couple dozen, but we'd come visit them the next week, and if they didn't sell them, we'd have to give them new ones. But at the farmers market, we could sell a dozen at a time to a person, or they would say to us, "Oh, I'd love to ship these to my mom in New York or my sister in Dallas." And we're like, "Oh, we could be selling dozens at a time instead of just coffee houses with a couple dozen in it." So we flipped pretty quickly within the first year and realized we wanted to get more into mail order and direct marketing as a business. It just seemed to have more opportunity as far as volume and quality control. And so we did more than farmers markets. Then we moved into street fairs, and then we started mailing a catalog, through the postal service, and that started as just a black ink on colored paper, and now we print, almost 2 million catalogs, 4-color, 28 pages a year that get mailed. We now bake and ship over 2.5 million brownies a year.
Aaron Wolfson and his business partner, Peter Menge, through an SBA-backed loan, launched the Savvy Gourmet 2 weeks prior to Hurricane Katrina hitting New Orleans. Designed to be a cooking school and retail cookware business, they had to adapt their business plan to meet the needs of the community and survive the effects from the storm.
We wrote a fairly comprehensive business plan with specific projections and really researched the market. In the business plan, we looked at basically three revenue streams: the cooking classes, the retail, and the catering. We finished the build out of the location in late July of 2005, and in August of 2005 we opened the Savvy Gourmet for some soft opening classes, some private events for family and friends, and those went very well. Everybody was impressed with the space, and we were excited to get started. And then towards the end of August, Katrina hit New Orleans. My partner and I evacuated to different parts of the country. Ultimately, we hooked back up and had some discussions about what we were going to do with the business. If you remember those days after the storm, it was pretty harrowing. We were evacuated. We're not allowed back into the city. We didn't know the status of our business, our physical plant. We didn't know if we had damage. We didn't know if the roof blew off. We didn't know if we had flooding. So once we were able to get back in and start cleaning up, we realized that we didn't have any damage to speak of, and decided that we had to open up as quickly as possible. We knew that people weren't going to be taking cooking classes because nobody was in town yet. It was just military and relief workers. So we opened up as a restaurant. We started serving food in mid-October of 2005. And as I recall, we got together on a Tuesday and decided we were going to open up as a restaurant. On Wednesday, we sent out an email to our email list. On Thursday, we had 35 people show up for lunch, and it just went from there. Because at that point, there was nowhere to eat in the city. There were no grocery stores open. There were no restaurants open. There were 2 places to go in town to go get a frozen hamburger, bar food and what have you. But we were the only place serving fresh food. And the way we did that was we had a strong connection with the Crescent City Farmers Market and knew a lot of the farmers personally that sold there. Through some contacts, we kept in touch with them, and they would actually drop off produce at our location. And then we would take orders from the other chefs that were starting to open restaurants around New Orleans. They would come pick up the produce from us, and we would serve whatever we had. I mean, if all they had were fresh carrots, we had carrot soup, we had roasted carrots, we had, you name it, it was carrots all day. But people enjoyed the fact that it was fresh food, prepared right there, in a clean, nice environment. We got wireless internet very early at the Savvy Gourmet, so people were coming there to congregate and check in with their family and friends, and check on their insurance claims, and do all the business of living that they had to do. So directly after the storm, we really became a place to meet, a community center. We started holding informational meetings there where the mayor's Bring Back New Orleans Commission would hold a subcommittee meeting, and people would come from the neighborhood and from around the city to hear how the mayor was hoping to help small businesses. We got involved with helping other restaurateurs who lost everything raise money to rebuild their restaurants. We got involved with the slow food movement to help raise awareness about buying locally, eating seasonally. I mean, we just found ourselves at the middle of this exciting place that none of us could have imagined before the storm hit. We always wanted to have something like that, but it really took this type of tragedy to bring people together. I found that a lot of businesses that were open prior to Katrina have not reopened because they've not taken a good, close look at the current situation. They're trying to fit their old business model into the current landscape. So we've got to constantly look at what we're doing. Are we providing the services that people want? Do we need to add something that we didn't have before? Do we need to stop something that isn't working anymore? So just a constant reanalysis of our resources, our relationships, and the business climate have allowed us to prosper and do well in that space.
For more information from SBA on managing for change and business preparedness, click on the provided links. And for business tips, log on to the United States Postal Service at USPS.com/smallbiz.